Aaron Whitlow.
Brandon Spivey here.
Oh goodness.
Aaron's been talking about balls, so you know.
I, I just said balls because of a conundrum. But we are the Mark Out Movie Podcasters, and on today's episode, what are we doing, Brandon?
You changed it to Candy Cane Lane as the last I was told. And that's what I watched.
Yeah,
So
that's what we're doing. Candy Cane Lane. I saved you the time from watching all the Fridays because I know that would have got you out of Christmas mood. Because if you had to watch the other two Fridays that had nothing to do with Christmas, and the third one that takes place on Christmas, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm just tired of all these Fridays."
I like the first Friday.
Yeah,
I just haven't seen the sequels.
yeah. I might still choose it eventually, but we'll see. But before we get to that, oh, I didn't make a banner for this. Edit. I'll do one real quick before we get to that. I wanted us to talk about a very famous lizard.
Oh, okay. I know where you're going.
Godzilla -1. I saw it. You saw it two different times. Uh, I went and seen it with my buddy Quentin. You went and seen it with your buddy
Cody.
Cody. So,
Yeah.
um, movie came out this year. It clocks in at 2 hours and 4 minutes. It's PG-13. Um, a post-war Japan is at its lowest point when the newest crisis emerges from in the form of a giant monster baptized in horrific power of atomic bomb. That's not really a great synopsis of what the movie is. I would say Kamikaze Pilot deals with the horrors of war and the horrors he saw while during war, which is Godzilla.
Yeah.
And you know, and I I I really enjoyed the movie, man. I really thought it was. I thought the characters were very interesting. The I really had a good time with it. I thought it was a little long, but it didn't really feel long to me at all. To me,
To you.
yeah.
I mean, as far as the length goes, I mean, I didn't realize it was 2 hours and 4 minutes. I thought it was like an hour and 50. That's how long it felt to me. So it obviously didn't feel long. But no, I thought it was a good Godzilla movie. It was actually the first Japanese Godzilla movie I've ever seen. So I enjoyed the story. Just what caught me off guard was the fact Godzilla was bad. I didn't know he could be bad. I always thought he was the protector. That was interesting to me. I liked it though. I like seeing Godzilla be bad.
Did you feel like it? I felt some horror elements with it, with Godzilla being like a villain. Did you
Yeah,
feel any type of horror type of elements with Godzilla?
I wouldn't say I felt that. I thought it was a pretty standard, monster flick. But I mean, if you felt it, that's great. I just didn't. I didn't feel that.
Oh, also, I love the story about this guy's PTSD when it comes to war, his survivor's guilt, and everything. I'm not trying to ruin the movie for anyone, but I think that it's just. I thought it was a really good movie. Godzilla. I love his. Oh, I love his. How he heated up, how he charged his you know breath or whatever, his fire or
Yeah,
whatever. I thought it was a really cool way to do it in this movie.
yeah, yeah. It's one of the. I would say that's a breathtaking scene when he first does it. I wasn't really expecting it because I'm only used to the American, and I know they did it in the films, but they did it quite a few times in this one, so I wasn't expecting it in the moment they did it the first time. But yeah, I
Yeah.
liked it. I mean, you were talking about the guy and his PTSD. I like the story there though. With
Mm.
him, he's in a war with Godzilla. Godzilla's just wreaking havoc on everything, but this is personal for this guy for everything that's happened. And I'm not going to spoil what's happened, but I like that aspect, that side story.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen anything quite like that. Maybe with 2014's Bryan Cranston's personal journey, but this is different. But I that's the only thing I can really compare it to.
I would agree with that. As far as like out of all the other Godzilla movies, like Bryan Cranston is the only other character that I found interest in. That I really enjoyed his story, but then they like went off and killed him like first
Yeah,
act of the movie, and you're like, oh man. So you don't really have any other characters that you really find interest in. But in this movie, I felt like every single one of the characters was very interesting. I loved his little band of brothers
yeah,
that he formed. I got at some points I got kind of Jaws vibes. Uh,
I did too.
like on the water. I
Hmm.
was gonna ask you that. Did you? So you felt the same thing?
Yeah, I felt I felt Jaws with Godzilla, and I loved that. Like I was like, man, this is Bill Furr's back. Godzilla was mad good. It was. It
Yeah,
was.
absolutely. Uh, it's up there for me as far as one of the best movies I've seen this year. I still haven't seen Bo is Afraid. Um, I may watch it. I might try to watch it tonight. 3 hours. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. But I really enjoyed it. Hey, Bilford, you gave me really good um choice last year as far as a great foreign film. Godzilla is probably the best foreign film this year so far. But do you have any other great ones that you think is going to be Oscar nominated that you think I should watch or that we should watch or whatever that Because I'm trying to I need a really good one. Last year, also All Quiet on the Western Front was like one of the best movies I saw. Also, I got vibes from All Quiet on the Western Front with Godzilla in a sense of with the soldier, the guy that comes back, who at one point, when there's like, well, we can't go and fight him, but maybe you guys can, you know. He was like I felt like that scene where the generals kind of uh, boost the morale of the guys to say, hey, I need y'all to go out and fight for me one more time and hold the line, even if they call a truce, keep fighting. And the guys that's already been through hell is looking like, why?
Yeah.
Uh, Americazzi. Where's it? Where's it showing at? The best movie is Gran Turismo. I've never seen it. Is that the one with the
That's the
driving kid?
yeah the
I heard
driving
I
kid.
heard good things, but I've never seen it. You seen it?
I missed it as well.
Okay. But yeah, we just want to share quick thoughts. I want to I give a quick little rating on Godzilla minus one for me. It's in theaters. I suggest you all watch it. Don't be afraid that it's subtitles or anything like that. I think that you after a while, Brandon, did you feel like you was able to like kind of adapt to subtitles and kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
take away
That's
from it?
you bring up a very interesting point there. I don't do foreign films, especially in the theater, but here I was. It didn't bother me at all. Like I was into the movie, so I reading the subtitles didn't affect me one bit. So if
Okay.
it's not going to affect me, it's not going to affect anybody because I do not like foreign films. But I really enjoyed this, and I can't say anything bad about it. I really had a good time with it.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give this one 5 markouts out of 5. I thought that the film was very. It kept me engaged the whole movie, and it wasn't like I was so interested in the human characters that I felt dread whenever Godzilla popped up. I didn't feel like in the other movies you're like I can't wait to see more Godzilla, which I still not wait to see more Godzilla. But when Godzilla popped up, the characters you like didn't want to die or anything. You're like, oh lord, you know that's how I felt. It was like, oh man, Godzilla felt like a threat, and I love that.
Well, he was a threat. He was a massive threat, and I was a little like I went into this movie blind. Didn't see a trailer, so I was expecting other monsters to pop in for him to fight. So I was a little surprised by the story. I think it was a good story though. I had a lot of fun with it. Godzilla was definitely a threat. I want to see more of a villainous Godzilla. I like the villainous Godzilla better than I do the face Godzilla. So
The baby face,
the
the
baby
heel
face
God,
Godzilla. Yeah, I mean
the,
I love it.
more heel Godzilla. I love it. But
Yeah.
what's your mark for it?
Oh, I won't go a 5. I'll give it up to a 4.5
It's
out of
pretty
5.
good. It's pretty good. Have you had? So what's the 5-star movie that you've seen this year so far? Is it Bo?
Bo is Not Afraid. Oppenheimer. I gave
Oh,
Mario 5-star, but you talk about true 5-star movies. I think those two would probably be it.
I'd say Godzilla so far for me. And what's the other one that I really enjoyed? Oh, Across the Spider Verse. I thought that was a really great movie. Um, I can see why people wouldn't like it because the cliffhanger ending. Uh, let me see what. What's that? 5-star movie Spider Verse 2. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought Spider Verse 2 was really good. But um, but yeah, I still haven't seen Oppenheimer. I haven't seen Bo is Afraid. I like Talk to Me as well. But that's just the horror in me.
I
You know,
didn't see it.
yeah.
I before we get to Candy Cane Land, I did want to ask because I saw a trailer to this yesterday and it is new, but it felt old. I
Okay.
forget what it's called, but it's with the teddy bear. It's like Megan with the teddy bear.
Imagination. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
on the is in the trailers of this Godzilla movie.
I was curious what you thought about it.
Oh, it's interesting. I think I I tried to not look at the trailer as best I could while I was watching the movie, but I did watch some of the trailer. I love the remixing or the re doing it's just my imagination. It
Hmm.
feels like a Jordan Peele type of movie. But no, it kind of felt like a James Wan type of thing.
Well,
I would
he's
I would
involved.
he is involved. Okay, I
Yeah.
felt James Wan. That's something where James Wan has that type of essence about him that you can just feel his stuff. But it'll be interesting to see. It's funny because I'm reading or audio book. I'm doing an audio book of it's called How to Sell a Haunted House, which is it's um let's see. I'm trying to see if I can look up who it's by. Um, How to Sell a Haunted House. I think it's by How to Sell. It's I think it's by I'm trying to think of the. It's the same person that did that demon. Like my best friend is possessed or something.
Oh, the
You know,
Exorcism movie you
yeah,
talking?
yeah.
I don't know the
The
author, but I know the
the
book.
author, yeah. It's by Grady Hendrix. Um, right now I'm listening to that, and that has some elements that kind of remind me of imagination. Um, because what's that? You seen Past Lives 2023? I have not.
Yeah, me
Um,
either.
I got some screeners that came in. I haven't watched most of some of them. I watched. I did watch. By the way, well, let me finish my thought real quick. So I can do that. The How to Sell a Haunted House uh, has elements where like dolls or puppets or or like maybe alive, things like that, or maybe possessed or something.
Hmm.
Uh, and this is what I get from this movie, the imagination. It I think it'd be a fun popcorn movie. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping
Hopefully.
for. Yeah, like
Yeah, I
Megan
mean,
was a fun popcorn movie.
I don't have issues with Megan. I wasn't excited for it. It exceeded my expectations in that regard. It just feels more of the same though. But I mean, I'm gonna go see it because Cody actually seems interested in watching it. So he'll probably want to go see it. So I'll probably go see it. I was just curious what you thought about it because I know you kind of dug Megan, and to me it felt a lot like Megan, like maybe in the same universe.
Yeah, maybe. I think that Megan is making what room for like other type of monster movies like that.
Yeah.
Dealing with like toys again. You got to say Chucky paved the road for it. Uh,
Oh,
but
definitely.
but
I mean,
yeah, but I can't wait to see it. This also, by the way, also did my best friend's exorcism, the horror store, Southern book club guide to slaying vampires, the Final Girl support group, and, other things like that. Um, but so far he's a very interesting author. Um, but yeah, he asked me about those. So I seen still the Michael J. Fox story. So far, I really enjoyed that documentary. I've seen the Silver Dollar Road, which is a great documentary. It's on I want to say that's on Prime. Michael J. Fox is on Apple Plus, and then Tyler Perry's uh, Maxine's Baby Boy, Maxine's Boy, or something like that. I forget the name of it. Is a pretty good one. It's also on Prime. So if you were into some good documentaries, those are so far some good ones I've seen.
the
But
only two
still,
I've seen
they
is
actually best.
the only two documentaries I've seen this year is Arnold and Sly.
And you said Arnold's was better, but Slides was interesting.
I thought Arnold was better because it discussed not just his film career, but his his family life, him being a governor, him returning back to film. Also his Mr. Olympia. I mean, it discussed every aspect of his life, and I felt Stallone just kind of missed the mark.
Hmm.
It just mainly hit Rocky and his relationship with his father, and I thought there was so much more. But I was very interested when he brought up Copland. I didn't expect them to name Copland, and he wasn't getting the energy he wanted from Robert De Niro in that one particular scene, so he pushed his buttons, and De Niro gave him an improv line, in which stayed in the movie, which is great. But
I,
I would have liked more of the struggles, you know, that Sly
yeah,
went through. Um, but
yeah.
it
Schwarzenegger
was
didn't.
fine. But it was
They
a lot
said
of stuff I already knew.
they said Schwarzenegger didn't shy away from like his child out of wedlock and things like
Yeah, he
that.
didn't.
Like which is cool. All right, we'll go ahead and get to any other things you need to talk about before we head in.
No, no.
Candy Cane Lane. Movie that came out this year. It's an hour and 57 minutes, almost 2 hours long. Starring Eddie Murphy, Tracy Ellis Ross. This is the second movie that I've seen of Tracy Ellis Ross this year. First one being American Fiction, which was a really good movie. Um, and then Jillian Bell's second movie I've seen was her in this movie. She's in unfortunately she's in that Good Burger 2 movie, which is terrible. Um, and then, some other people is in this movie. Nick Offerman, I want to point out, is in this movie. Uh,
Yep.
how, I'm going to ask you about that eventually. But all right, a man is determined to win the neighborhood's annual Christmas decoration contest. He makes a pact with an elf to help him win. The elf casts a spell that brings 12 days of Christmas to life, which brings unexpected chaos to town. I wish it showed more of the chaos in town. But Candy Cane Lane, Eddie Murphy, big family movie for 2023. Uh, him and this director worked together before Reginald Holland. They did Boomerang. They worked together on Boomerang
Did they?
all those years ago. Yeah,
All those years ago.
yeah, which is not a family movie. But
I don't
what do you
think I've ever
think?
seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Boomerangs are really. I think it's a cult classic amongst black folks. It is what it is. It's like one of those movies that it was like back in the day. We really quoted a lot of it. Like Grace Jones is in it. Eartha Kitt is in it. David Allen Greer, I believe, is in it. Very. young. Uh, I think I don't know if it's Chris Rock or someone else. It might have been Chris. It's somebody else who's in the movie. Is very young at the time. But yeah, I hadn't seen it so long ago. But I'm not a huge Tracy Ellis Ross fan, but I thought she did pretty good in this movie. I love Eddie steals the scene in this movie in my opinion.
Oh yeah, Eddie's he's family Eddie. I don't know. He's not classic Eddie, but he's family Eddie. Uh, I was actually intrigued with this movie, at least till the first act. It felt like Deck the Halls, but a modernized version. You know, with the Christmas lights, the competition. I was like, oh, is this is reminding me of that other movie that I do not like. But I like this, and then it kind of shifted gears, and
It's good.
to me, it came more like Santa Claus 3, in that aspect, this evil elf. But I thought Eddie was great though. I really did. I His family not so much. But you know, it is what it is. I feel like you had a good time with it though, just by your
Uh,
expressions.
well, I had a good time with. Well, I watched it with my grandkids. Um, well, one of them at least. The other one came in towards the end, but and he enjoyed what he saw. But the 5 year old really enjoyed it. She was like, "Oh, that's not." She's like, "Oh, that's not very nice." When the lady is doing mean things, she's like, "Oh, that's not
Yeah,
very." There is some jokes in here that will go over the children's head, especially with the lamplighter Gary, Chris Red. He's very he's very raunchy. He's a very raunchy guy. Like he flirts and says some things. I love the I did love I love the design of the little porcelain character, the little figures, figurines like Nick, Alfred and them. I
yeah,
love their design with the little it looks like porcelain almost like the little glowy. I thought
yeah.
it was really nice, well done. Um, but yeah, there's some characters like this isn't Eddie's strongest movie, but Eddie does family movies well, and people gotta give him credit for that. He does really good with family movies.
I
That
mean, I remember Doctor Dolittle. I loved that as a kid or a teenager whenever it came out. Um, Shrek. Uh, you know, I know he did Haunted Mansion, Daddy Daycare. So I do give him credit when he shifted
Bird,
gears to more family films. He was successful. So I mean, I give him credit. I don't know. I knew this was going to be a family film, but I just how it started. I just kind of thought, oh, we're gonna get it's gonna be something like that, and then
that's
it
what,
shifted.
and I thought that too. I ain't gonna lie. Like I didn't look at any trailers for this. I just went in blind.
Yeah, me
Uh,
too.
and so I thought, I agree with you. I thought at first we was gonna get like a Deck the House. What was it? Matthew Broderick and
And Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. Which I'm gonna go out and say this. I'm gonna say this right now. I am not a Matthew Broderick fan, and he's meh. Like yes, I like Inspector Gadget because the nostalgia of it. Uh, I liked Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but not so much for Ferris, but for the other characters, really. Um, and just not a big, not a big Matthew Broderick fan.
Yeah,
Danny DeVito, I do like Danny. I've always liked Danny DeVito ever since like I would say Twins is my first when I fell in love with Danny. So yeah, but that movie's terrible. It's like I don't know if it's done got better with age, but it was pretty terrible. What did Bill say? War
War
Games.
Games. Yeah, Matthew Broderick. 80s film.
Oh, okay, you
You
took
never
it
seen
down.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. War Games. I remember that. That's with him and the monkey or the chimpanzee. I don't. know which one's which. But yeah, uh,
Yeah, I've only seen it once, so I don't really recall it. Other than he's playing these little war games with the government or something. I mean, I don't hate Matthew Broderick. The
yeah, I
films I
don't hate
really
him. I'm
the
just not a big fan.
the films I remember him in, or I remember liking, was The Cable Guy, which is because of Jim Carrey. um, I liked Addicted to Love with Meg Ryan, and I liked at the time I really liked Godzilla '98 when that came out, but
Oh,
I never.
War Games isn't about the monkey. Yeah, War Games with the yeah. Would you like to play a game? That one. Okay. I was thinking about the other one. The other movie. I think there was one with him and a monkey and a chimp. But anyway, yeah, I forgot about that one that you mentioned. I forgot about the cable guy.
Yeah,
But yeah, but I don't think of it as a Matthew. I literally don't think of it as a Matthew Broderick movie. It is a Jim Carrey movie. Jim is king in that movie. So
yeah. I mean, I agree. So I mean, he's not relevant today, but you know, even though he was in that Jennifer Lawrence comedy as the guy's father, but he's you know he's Matthew
yeah,
Broderick. But
yeah. But anyway, my point, yeah, with this is, I did, I did agree with you. Like at first, I thought when they said, "Oh, you can win $100,000" or something like that, I
yeah,
thought the neighbors was gonna like work really hard to compete against each other, and it's gonna get out of hand and out of
yeah,
control. And I was like, oh, I was like, and then I was like, is this a remake of this that I wasn't aware of? Like
yeah,
I'm down for it. I would love to see that. But it's not that. It's not that. It literally it becomes. Um, you said Santa Claus 3.
well, it just
Uh,
I believe that's the one with Martin Short as Jack Frost. Maybe I'm
yeah.
wrong. Just the
What
elf reminded me of a character like that, and it
Which
was
movie had
evil.
that one F that with the evil? Oh, it's the Santa Claus movie that's on with Kurt Russell that's on
Oh,
Netflix.
Christmas Chronicles too.
Yeah, it has the evil
Yeah, that's part
elf.
two.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. I got vibes from that with the evil elf.
See, I completely forgot that movie.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know, man. It was interesting to see. This dog is going crazy behind me. Yeah, but anyway, I don't know. I don't know what the dog's doing. But anyway, uh, it was interesting to see Eddie doing this film. I thought that I love the idea that like when the things are spinning and moving and stuff. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, is he gonna keep going back to the store and getting more and more things, and it's gonna get crazier and crazier? And but when she said, "Oh, you didn't read the fine print," that's when I knew. Okay, well, there's something like she's something up with her. She's evil.
yeah.
But and also I've never seen this lady play like a decent character at all. She's always been like an evil character.
Well, go watch Godmother on Disney Plus. She's good in that. And I actually thought that movie was better than this, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You didn't like that movie at all, did you?
not really.
So it tells me what you thought about this one. but but so Eddie Murphy and his family, uh, he loses his job. He's very cheerful and happy.
Yeah,
Christmas, like a few days before Christmas, he gets let go from his job, uh, and he needs the money so that he wants his family to have a great Christmas. He loves Christmas. That's like his thing about this movie. He's absolutely uh, huge fan of Christmas, and so they do this contest. They enter the contest, and the things on the tree come alive. Which when I noticed that, like with the geese swimming or whatever, the ducks swimming or
Hmm.
swans are swimming. Uh, I thought, okay, okay, so that'd be interesting. I was like, I don't know where it's gonna go with it. Uh, I I didn't like the concept of them having to capture the golden ring. Um, I don't know, man. Its movie has some really great elements to it, but then it had some things that I thought wasn't as put together. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I
but bad
it
ADR. Did you notice that? Did you notice the bad ADR?
no, no, I didn't.
ADR is so when they dub like somebody, so someone either messes up a line or they need to change the line, and so you don't really see the people talking. Sometimes you see a face pointing away from the camera or whatever. And so what they do is after the film is posted, they will go back in and then record that line and just dub it, put it in the scene to kind of cover up, like say, a bad audio or something like that. So there was a few moments where I watched this movie and I noticed some bad dubbing, like the lips didn't match up just right, uh, or you could tell that it was done in ADR. Like Eddie will say, "Oh, like he's not looking at the camera, but and you can tell his face isn't moving, his mouth isn't moving, but he'll be like, oh, well, we only have this little bit of time to find this other ring or something like that, but you don't see his mouth moving.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of took me out of it a little bit.
No, I did not notice that. But yeah, if I had noticed it, yeah, it probably would have took me out too. Um, but I'm, I don't know. When you brought up the characters, you know, I guess she's done this. I don't know how long she's done this, but they all lose and they become these little porcelain little dolls and
Yeah.
that she controls. And it's I just didn't like where the story went with that.
Mm.
Like that took me out of the movie when it went to that direction, and I just like eh. So I didn't hear or see anything bad like towards the movie, like reviews wise, until like right before I watched it yesterday. Like
Oh, you looked
it
at
got
reviews before you watched
I
it?
didn't look at it. Like it popped up on my news feed right before I started the movie. I was like, ah, great. It can't be that bad. I mean, but it's like I don't think it's like the worst movie of the year or anything. It's kind of a letdown from how it started. I was really interested when it started, but like when it went in this direction, I it's just a big meh for me. Like I didn't care for Jillian's character, the elf lady. And you brought up Nick Offerman, who I knew was in the movie, but I could not tell it was him as one of the
Yeah,
dolls.
yeah. The doll version doesn't look like him, and didn't sound like him. I thought it was somebody totally different
I did
until like
too. I was like, "Where's
you,
Nick at?"
and then like when he pops in, I'm like, oh, I'm like, well, I rather. It's my thought was, oh, I rather see him more and more in this movie. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, I'd rather see him,
You
like
know what?
him.
I would rather him play the neighbor. That him and
Mhm.
Eddie got some competition, but I don't know. I love Nick Offerman. He is such a talented actor. He my introduction, of course, is Ron Swanson, but man, that guy, he's really good. He's so underrated, and I
Yeah.
felt his talent was wasted in this movie.
Yeah, I felt also they tried to tie things up in a pretty bow at the very end
Yeah,
with like things with the daughter and her scholarship to race or whatever, run or whatever. Like just so happened that this UNC University of North Carolina scout is in her neighborhood for some reason. It's like maybe it's because of that thing, but what? Why would you go all the way to like? I assume they're in California or something like that. Why would you go all the way there to? I don't know. It just like I thought that was crazy. Also, I did notice. the singing, like the singers in the little figurines was pentatonic. I don't know if I'm saying their name right. I love their musical group. I didn't hate them. I love that they were in the movie.
Yeah.
The carolers. Uh, I noticed them when the moment that they was like the way that they do with their voices. I'm like, oh, that's pentatonic. Uh, which they're really famous group. That's what they're known for, like acapella singing and making it, doing everything with their voices. Um, but yeah, I was happy to see them. But I thought that there was like I thought that the movie fell short when Eddie wasn't there. I wish that they would have tightened up. Some of the characters wasn't really necessary, like that Kit lady and that Kit and Emerson. I thought their banner was not really like the only one thing that the only part that I liked is when Santa Claus came back. David Allen Greer is Santa Claus, which I love that. I don't know why he looked like a pimp, but
I love that. I don't know why he looked like a pimp. That's
he looked like a pimp. But
wow.
but
Wow.
I love David Allen Greer. Like David Allen Greer being in this movie, I absolutely loved it, and that makes sense because David Allen Greer, it's Donnelly. He's in Boomerang with Eddie, so it's kind of like a reunion of them two being in this movie together. That's pretty dope. I didn't think about that. Um, but yeah, I like him. But my point is also uh with the elf lady. I felt like she was just she never was really sinister to me. She just was more annoying than anything else. Um, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I just and I think she seemed like she's getting up pretty easy. I don't know. It's a random movie. The ending is the most random. I feel like everything is just so random at the end. Like, ooh, let's throw this stuff in here real quick before it ends. That's how I felt.
I mean, I can't argue. I was just happy that it ended, and I wasn't invested, and I couldn't wait for it to be over, and I felt bad for Eddie, and he's given me no confidence for a Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Oh, really?
I gotta be honest. I think the only movie I've enjoyed that he did was that Black Dynamite movie on Netflix. Since he's really come back, and
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that. I
I
agree with that.
I haven't enjoyed anything else. I'm worried about Axel Foley. I really am,
You
but
know what? Yeah, you made a brilliant point with that because like this is the best Eddie has done since coming back, other than the Dolomite, like you said. That is absolutely the best. That is the best that he's done. Period.
yeah,
Like I felt like Coming to America 2 or Coming to America was terrible. Uh, I felt like that movie they did with Jonah Hill was terrible last year.
yeah, that
I don't
wasn't good either.
I don't understand why I don't like that Barris guy. I just feel like he's like doesn't have as much talent as people think he does. Whoever, well, I don't know his name, but they're blackish. I just think that he doesn't have as much talent as people suggest.
You think it's
Uh,
overhyped?
yeah, I'm very yeah, definitely.
I've
You
only
see,
seen the show on Netflix. I haven't seen Blackish, Mitchish, or whatever the other ish
uh,
is.
Grownish, Grownish.
Get Grownish. I haven't seen that. I saw Black AF, and I didn't
Yeah,
hate it, but it
yeah,
wasn't funny.
I like that.
I just didn't find it funny,
Yeah,
but
I,
I
I
liked it.
like. I liked it. It wasn't funny. You're right. I liked it, but it wasn't funny. And that's I don't like the best thing about Blackish is actually oh what is his name?
I hope
He's
it's
a
Anthony
comedian.
Anderson.
No, not Anthony. Anthony's not the most funny thing in the movie in the show. It's actually I forget his name. I'm seeing his face right now. He has a Netflix series, a comedy series, like a stand-up comedy series. Um, he I forget his name. Starts with a D. Um, I'm gonna find him real quick. He is Dion Cole. Is literally the funniest part in the show. Whenever he's on screen, he just brings the humor. He just is so funny in that show. Just the way that he responds to certain things. Like the best part about the show is Dion Cole. Like I don't know if Dion has had his own show, uh, but he's really good. Uh, but yeah, man. Oh yeah, he does have his own show, Average Joe. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see that. Okay. Um. Anyway, oh, where did this movie go wrong, Brandon?
I would say introducing the elf, but that's just me.
You think this movie is for children? Children love it. You think
Yeah,
children love it?
I do.
Uh, yeah. I feel like it's fun for little families, but if you the moment that you really start thinking about anything too seriously, like I had more fun with this movie. I ain't gonna lie. I had more fun with this movie than I did with uh Good Burger 2. Like Good Burger 2, the most all the time I was watching it, I was like, when will this end? That's what I thought. I was like, this is so terrible. Like, I questioned what I found was very funny as a teenager. I was like, oh, this is dumb. But anyway, um, yeah, man. So Eddie, I'm not gonna spoil it. If anybody wants to see the movie, you can watch it on Prime. Uh, it, you know, they're gonna tie everything up in a bow. It is what it is. I don't know if it spoils anything. It's just like it's a family movie,
I
so
mean, it's majority of Christmas movies though. They do tie it up like a nice bow and unwrap it like a beautiful little gift on Christmas Day.
yeah. I felt like man, what were your thoughts on David Allen Greer? I was gonna ask you that.
It was good seeing him. I wish he'd been in the movie a lot more than the ending, but uh, it was weird. And I know what you're gonna say. It was weird seeing him as Santa. I know what you're gonna say. Don't go there. don't don't do it. It was just I had no issues with how he was dressed. By the way, whether he's looking pimp or not, if it, the beard itself was weird. Like it didn't look like your
It's his beard.
Santa
I
Santa
think his
beard.
mustache was maybe fake, but the beard I think is actually David, or maybe it was. I'm not sure. Um, there is. I don't mind a black Santa,
I knew he was
but
gonna go there. I knew it. I knew
but
it.
listen,
That's not
uh,
why, Aaron.
no, it's funny. I thought about you because there one guy. She says Santa is black. I knew it, and then like the guy says, I don't see color,
I,
and
I don't.
I thought about you, and then she says, what color is what color is the nutcracker behind you? And then he said white, and she looked at him like you see color, but but yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Um, it got a chuckle out of me. Um, but I think there's some people in this movie that are just underutilized. Ken Marino, the neighbor Bruce, I thought he would be more I don't know obnoxious or something. I felt like the neighborhood didn't feel like a real neighborhood. I don't. It's hard to do that. The only movie that I know that's really done that really well, only two movies I think that's really done it really well, captured the neighborhood, and you feel like you know the neighbors and neighborhood is Burbs and Friday. Are the two movies that I feel like you can watch them and you're like, oh, I know the neighborhood, I know these people, but I didn't know these neighbors. I didn't feel invested in these neighbors at all. So
Well, it's
Um,
because they took the attention off of him after he met the elf.
yeah,
You
and
know,
don't you wish that they would have kept like the attention? That's what I feel like. I feel like this movie had a potential to have a really great movie in it. Had it just went with uh him trying to win this money
yeah,
or something like that, and then like he over more and more starts like I don't know like forgetting about things with his family, maybe missing his daughter's track meet, maybe missing the recital or band practice or something like that because he's get more and more wanting to win, and then and maybe he didn't reveal to him that he lost his job. He's trying to find a way to try to salvage Christmas without letting people know. That's a movie by itself. That's a pretty interesting movie by itself. Um,
yeah.
and him somehow, they find it out, and somehow the family come together, and the neighborhood actually can come together and say, no, let's help. Maybe that's more like that Tim Allen movie where the neighborhood at the end is like, we're
Christmas
gonna
with the
help you.
Cranks.
Yeah, we're gonna help you celebrate Christmas. But I don't know. The movie could have had something better in it.
Yeah,
I guess.
where it starts off not very original anyway, because it starts off you feel like you're watching Deck the Halls, or a remake of it at least. So you kind of have to go in a different direction because you think because it probably would have been ripped to shreds if it would have been that type of movie.
Bill for the
Candy
candy
cane
cane lane.
lame. I can't argue with you, Bill, for once. I can't do it because it was pretty lame for me. I just there was as Aaron said, there was potential here. There really was. There was potential. I feel for a really good Christmas movie, and it it went down the toilet, man. It just they gave a stinker.
Yeah, honestly, and I would say this so far of this year, the best uh, Christmas movie that I've seen was uh, Dashing All the Way,
I haven't
or
I haven't
Dashing Through the Snow, rather.
I haven't seen
Um,
that one yet.
yeah, I think Lorel as Santa felt like Santa. Like I didn't think of him as Lorel. I seen him as Santa, and I felt like just Luda, the characters, and there's some antics that happen, but I was more invested in that movie
Well, that's a
than
Santa I can get behind right there.
yeah.
Lil Rel is Santa. I can get behind that Santa.
You can't wait till when are you planning on watching it?
I'll probably watch it next week because I'm going to be starting to watch the bigger films soon. So I got to fit that in somewhere. Not
Yeah,
that it's not a big film, but the classics. Got to
yeah,
get them in soon. So
yeah, definitely. But yeah, but like I said, that's so far the best Christmas movie that I've seen. Um, as far as like newer Christmas movies, I started
I,
watching a little bit of the naughty list or whatever thing, but I
that
didn't
felt
really watch.
like I didn't watch it, but I felt from just the trailers or a little scene I saw, felt like I'd be really kiddie.
Like Ocean's 11. It's like kids' version of Ocean's 11, essentially.
Mm, I may put it on my list to watch then.
Yeah. But all right, Ray, go ahead and give your marks for this movie.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I guess I'll give my marks. I'll give this movie a 2 out of 5 on the markout meter.
2 out of 5 on the markout meter. That's a fairly low score. I'm gonna give it 2.5 out of 5. I give it that for Eddie. I thought Eddie was great in this movie. Um, he is a he's a Eddie Murphy, man, is just something. Is when you see him, you enjoy him, but he can be used wrongly. Definitely, he can definitely be used wrongly. And he wasn't used wrongly in this. It just felt like great casting for Eddie, but everything else didn't really work out in this movie.
I agree.
Eddie was there. Eddie's having the ball. He was there and he was on. But I think everything else just didn't work out. I did like David Allegretti. I did like Nick Offerman. But other than that, there's nothing that really like. Ooh, yeah, I can't wait to see more of this, like a sequel or something. No.
I hope to God we don't get a sequel.
Uh,
But we
what was
might.
that? My Christmas movies are Die Hard and Batman Returns. I forget Batman Returns is considered a Christmas movie. I was gonna show Die Hard. We was gonna review Die Hard, but it's not streaming. At least it wasn't not in the
Shucks.
U.S.
No Die Hard for Christmas.
I like Die Hard. It's a Christmas movie. No matter what you say, Brandon. Uh,
I will say
but
it's on Christmas. Yes, I will say it's
it
on
is a
Christmas.
Christmas movie. Her name is Holly. There is literally ho 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 is uttered. Merry Christmas is uttered in the movie. It's a Christmas movie. All right. Anyway, what we got, Brandon? Next week.
I told you this, and I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna do a Latino Christmas movie. Cause I had said this since he told me I gotta get black in. When I said if you get black in, I'm gonna go Latino. Black didn't come, but Latino is here. Nothing but the holidays. It's on Peacock or Hulu. It's on something. It's
Nothing
streaming.
but the holidays.
Yeah, John Leguizamo's in it. The dude from Spider-Man 2. I can't think of his name. He's also in it. It's got a pretty good cast. I think maybe Jay Hernandez is also in it.
Have you seen this one before?
I saw it last year for the first time, and I was like, you know what? I liked it so much. I think I'm gonna revisit it.
Nothing like the holidays. Okay.
And another reason you don't see a lot of when they do Christmas movies with the family. You don't. It's usually white people.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I was like, this would be a cool film to do a review of about a family that's struggling and going through a lot of problems, and it's not your traditional family. And I'm
I'm
gonna
down for it. I
I'm gonna
can't
get
wait to.
some Latino Christmas. I'm there for it.
I don't know what you're saying, buddy.
I don't
All
know
right.
either, but I'm down.
Abort. But all right. So next week we'll be doing Nothing Like the Holidays, which is on Max. If you want to see it, if you have a
Oh,
subscription
that's
to
what
Max,
it's on.
it's on Max. I'll look it up. But yeah, and I'm gonna, of course, do more black movies because it's gonna be a Black Christmas here in this house. But all right, Brandon, what do we want everybody to do?
Well, if you somehow like this episode after that comment, hit that like button, hit that comment, hit that subscribe, and share. Get more
Yeah,
eyes on the Markout Movie Podcast.
yeah, we thank you.
It's gonna be a Black Christmas at Aaron's house.
It is. Y'all are not really invited, but invited virtually.
Hey, you can't say it's gonna be a Black Christmas and not invite people.
Then they wouldn't say. We know how it is. But all right, we thank you for tuning in to the Markout Movie Podcast. We thank you. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Make great decisions and love one another.
There you go.